That's a fancy hat.
Yeah, I thought I'd dress up.
Well, good.
Get my good hat on, and I even put my fancy summer shirt on. I don't
I was just
wear
like,
it much because they the
oh, I like that hat. I'm getting a better look at it now.
yeah, it's my good hat. Actually went out and spent some money on it.
Huh. Well, that's a kind of a Key West hat. Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I've
Oh.
got the Hawaiian shirt on, and it's back. I think when Biden was sometime during Biden's presidency when the white nationalist folks were wearing Hawaiian shirts so they would know each other at the rallies or something.
I don't remember that, really.
Yeah,
They did?
I did because I like Hawaiian shirts, and I have enough trouble just opening my mouth and being confused with them. I almost quit wearing it. Then I ran across this one that was pink, and I knew none of them would wear pink. So
No, yeah. Now you're saying the white supremacists wore Hawaiian shirts to identify each other? Is that what you said?
There was a group out there that was wearing Hawaiian shirts, and of course they were also wearing their white trash clothes too. You know, the hats.
Well, that's a new one on me.
So I'm sitting there going, I was going to buy it. I usually try buying one every other year to kind of keep one of them that looks somewhat current because they change them all the time. And I enjoy wearing them once in a while.
I'll go over to Trail Mix and tell them we're live here. I'll play this while I'm gone.
It's just it's scary, I tell you.
Are you up to speed on what they did at Pulse?
They just painted over the rainbow crosswalk.
Our mayor posted it.
It just sucks. They did it overnight, so no one knew it was happening.
Posted that they had painted it over?
Yes, and he was furious. Couldn't believe that the state had done that.
But it was part of the memorial.
They ought to go back and paint Trump on the same spot and see if they leave it there. Well, DeSantis said Florida's where woke comes to die.
Boy, is that offensive. I mean, who wouldn't get upset having to look at,
all those bright colors? How threatening.
How are they going to get rid of the ones in the sky?
I know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just it's scary, I tell you.
Are you up to speed on what they did at Pulse?
They just painted over the rainbow crosswalk.
Our mayor posted it.
It just sucks. They did it overnight, so no one knew it was happening.
Posted that they had painted it over?
Yes, and he was furious. Couldn't believe that the state had done that.
But it was part of the memorial.
They ought to go back and paint Trump on the same spot and see if they leave it there. Well, DeSantis said Florida's where woke comes to die.
Boy, is that offensive. I mean, who wouldn't get upset having to look at,
all those bright colors? How threatening.
How are they going to get rid of the ones in the sky?
I know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just it's scary, I tell you.
Are you up to speed on what they did at Pulse? Okay, I got that. I'm not as speedy at that yet as I'll eventually get.
Well, I figured out how to turn the camera off. I thought there was a good opportunity to play here.
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the only way you can do this is get on here and just push buttons and see what explodes and what works what doesn't? So anyway, I put our live feed on the thread there on trail mix.
Yeah, I guess Jamie's out with her family doing. They're going to ride. There, I guess there's a, one of those old fashioned train rides. There,
Oh,
probably goes up into the mountains.
well, that's because she's next to the. Which is it? Is it Mount Rainier that she's close to? I think.
I
Something
don't
like.
know. I don't know exactly where she's at.
Um,
But
yeah, I came out here today, and let me see. I'll turn the camera around. You can see there's no, that doesn't work. That's not how that works. I have to do it this way. There. There you can see all the chairs are occupied today.
oh boy, everybody's out
Yeah.
enjoying themselves.
Uh, the first one I got was broken. I could only get a broken chair at first. And there was some. There's a band back here. They're on a break right now, but they're playing kind of a different collection of things. Anyway,
Well, I saw where Trump was saying that he had solved all the crime problems, and
yeah, it's all done. We can go to restaurants now.
and the DC police are agreeing with him that all the carjackings went down 80%. Well, over last week, which means
Yeah,
what? You have one less carjacking.
yeah. I mean, they can just. I mean, it doesn't matter what happens. They're just going. They may be telling the truth. They may not. How do we ever know anymore?
Well, they could easily be telling the truth when you're giving crime statistics from one week to the next. There's so much noise that in the
Right.
statistics that
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. And they may easily, people may have with the extra concentration of patrols and whatever,
Yeah.
may went to ground for a while.
That's kind of like it's
That
kind
doesn't
of
mean
like
they
when
went away.
I grew up with roaches in Florida. You come in and at night and turn the lights on in the kitchen, and they run into the cupboards, but they're going to come back.
Yep. That's it. Hey, what I was saying the other day when I said something about the FBI about the only thing I could think would do any good is you realize that most crime is done by a few individuals. And you need to locate those individuals, and you need to either persuade them not to do crime or you need to lock them up, whichever works.
Yeah.
Unless,
Yeah.
and the only way you're going to find those individuals is if you're in the community. And you can't bring a
Yep.
National Guard person in there because he doesn't have a clue where he's at. And he's
Well, I've been seeing, people are sharing all these clips on the platforms. I've seen where they'll see these National Guard just kind of standing around chatting with each other. Obviously, have no mission. They're just kind of standing around like security guards at Walmart.
Yeah. Well, security guards at Walmart at least walk around and look. our
Know
local
what to look
Walmart,
for.
their security guard is in a pickup out in the parking lot going around in circles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think there's that much crime, but evidently it's worth the effort, or they feel like it is. I think they always say that there's more crime around a Walmart, and I pointed out that that's because Walmart, when they catch shoplifters, they turn them in. They call the police.
Well, we can. It is laughable, but at the same time, it's pretty darn scary because they're conditioning people to this idea that the military could show up in their neighborhoods, and that's just okay.
Mm-hmm. There's that. They are And as far as, and they're using crime as an excuse, and it just, I guess I've lived up there in a fairly high crime world up there, so I kind of understand what it takes. And it does take, community policing is one of the best. You got to get out there and talk to the neighborhood to know what's going on. But, and some police don't like to do that.
Yeah, I remember that years ago around here, they went through a year or two, and I really never felt so safe. Although maybe it was, just in my imagination. But when the police were out on the beat, walking the streets on bicycles, a lot of them on bicycles, and they were visible, and they weren't just sitting in their cars in front of 7-Eleven having donuts and coffee. And I'm sure they did. They don't like that. I can appreciate that. That's big. That's a lot more work to get out wandering around. And they're exposed also. I mean, that's the other thing.
Yeah, but once they know who you are, unless you're just a total jerk and asshole,
Yeah. Right.
The neighborhood, you go out there, even crazies aren't going to give anybody, a lot of trouble. They're going to do crime on somebody that's safe.
Yeah, I could see where they probably got a lot of these carjackers or what, maybe on retreat, with all this activity. But a lot of those carjackers, they've mostly been like 14, 15,
yeah.
Just know nothing kids that just on a lark. But of course, a lot of it turns deadly.
And it's probably one or two small groups of kids doing it. That if you can identify those groups, then you can go in there and you can, talk to them. Now, I know Kansas City was doing there for a while is they would basically go in and offer job services and all that. And also they would lay down the rules that if you don't take these services and you don't quit doing crime, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
A little carrot and stick approach. And it seemed to work. I don't know. It fluctuates. And I think sometimes the police have trouble they have trouble being social workers, which is what you have to do in that instance.
Well, the other thing I saw that they're talking about doing is they're talking about getting like 20. Am I right? Was it like $2 or $3 billion there that the White House is asking Congress to spend on DC for improvements? And I know one of the things Trump obsessed on the other day was grass. He wants to replace grass all over Washington, and because he knows so much about grass because he has golf courses. And
I tell you what, if I was a local block leader in Washington D.C., I'd be start writing up my grant proposals, seeing if I could getting something in my neighborhood.
And I'm thinking, hey, if these guys want to play, world policeman, and if this guy wants to be Mr. Dictator and take over the nation's capital, heck, if we can get some new grass out of it, why not? What the heck? I mean, look here. See, look at that. That's no. We need grass right here at my feet in Dupont Circle. Yeah. Look at that awful grass. Disgusting. Worst grass in the whole world.
There you go. I think most public parks just simply because they are low maintenance.
Yeah.
Grass, if they keep the weeds down pretty good. It's
maybe
to maintain a golf course like condition.
Oh, absolutely.
Grasses and all that.
I mean, and like here, see on the weekend,
courses.
look at there. See, on the weekends, we need more Adirondack chairs too. Can you see how many? They're all occupied. We need more on the weekends.
I told my sister about those chairs in the park, and she goes, and they don't steal them. I mean, I think that's a
They really don't. I mean, for all that talk about crime, somehow you can put loose furniture in public places and
yeah.
nobody takes anything. Beats me. But yeah, you talk about golf course. You know, that was my first job. And, and when I was in high school, I worked on the greens crew for a golf course.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that is you're right about the water use. I mean, there's just now they were hooked up to some kind of water supply that was reusable, or I don't know. They had something that was supposed to be environmentally good.
Well, I always think someplace like Florida, it would be real easy to do a well. It would pump all the water you could possibly want.
Well, you know, my dad was in construction, so he built roads, but they dug wells all the time, and he had his crew come in and dig one in our backyard, and we never had to buy water again. I mean, it supplied our sprinklers. I mean, he even figured out how to put it in the pool, which required a lot more chemicals.
Well, yeah, you got to add some chemicals to it, but then you got to put it anyway.
Yeah, we had to put nuclear materials in that water to keep it clean for the pool. But nevertheless, I mean, it's like, but that was a great thing. But and then in later years, I think they regulated that so that I don't think that would even be legal to do what he did, dig that well. And
Yeah,
nowadays,
that's what I understand out here in rural Missouri, that to dig a well, you've got to get a permit.
yeah.
After you just dig one and go on. And then
Well,
to
and
abandon
then
a
they
well,
run out.
you've got to get a permit.
Yeah, and then they run. Yeah, ours started to actually run dry because the aquifer underneath, in Florida, in Central Florida, where we lived in the Orlando area, that aquifer was like a river underground, and and it over the decades, that well got weaker and weaker and weaker, and at one point he had to dig it even deeper
Yeah.
because the aquifer was going down.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say that Orlando area, that they probably have some pretty big wells for the municipal water system, don't they?
Yeah, and then of course we got the sinkholes, the natural wells
Yeah. Well, yeah.
where the ground just falls in. The aquifer, the ground just can't
Yeah, you've got that.
stay
You've
intact
got the
anymore.
same thing the Ozarks has. You've got that limestone underneath.
Limestone's what it is. Yeah, forest. Yeah,
I think it was down southeast here somewhere. They had a sinkhole open up underneath their sewer system, sewer pond. And basically, I guess the night watchman was out there, and he just looked at it. It just looked like somebody flushed the toilet. It just swirling down, and they traced that probably two or three hundred miles south, that it flowed underground. They could trace it through the water and stuff. So it's an interesting system.
well,
Yeah.
talk about limestone. Is that what was in the Kentucky water that accounts for the bourbon being so good, or something? The limestone.
I think that's what they claim, and I think I was raised on well water, and I think I liked it. I thought it was a good flavored water with the limestone and stuff. So I think that's what they claim. Of course, Coors claims Rocky Mountain water is the best, so they claim their beer is better because it's brewed in the Rocky Mountain water. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's some commenters on here, but I put a thing on the YouTube thing that I haven't figured out how to interact with commenters on my phone here when I'm outside. So my message to commenters is we'd love to talk to you. Just come on here. Go to the chat room on Trail Mix. Click that, because otherwise I
Yeah.
don't really know how to interact. Uh, now there's this band here. I don't know. It's I can't. It's over on the other side there. I'm afraid to walk over there though. I might lose my chair. Let's see if I can swing it around. Uh, See him over there on the other
Yeah.
side of the fountain. Can you actually hear them?
They pitch a tent or a pop up.
Yeah, they got a little pop up tent there, and but I'm not sure. See more if I turn it that way. See, here's the Dupont Circle fountain, and that's him on the other
Yeah.
side. Oh, maybe I'll walk over there in a bit when I'm ready to give up my chair. Oh, there's some more chairs over there, so maybe I could get away with leaving. Huh. Once I get settled in here in a chair I like, I mean it's not a problem on the weekdays.
Yeah. It's a different world. Of course, that's like a lot of places. Because you got to.
Well, you wouldn't know everybody's pretty calm today. You wouldn't know we're being taken over by a dictator.
Yeah, well, you know. What was it I said the other day? I said there's two things you got to know to survive in an authoritarian system.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, kids kiss the ring and keep your mouth shut. And I think I added to I was addressing a nod and I added to it and I said, and you and I are screwed.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Based on all my walking around the last little while, all the pot smoke I'm smelling everywhere, I think that's how a lot of DC's handling it. They're just getting stoned.
It may be.
For the Trump years, to get through the Trump years.
Just light up one and quit worrying. Well, I'm at the point. I'm old enough now at 72 that it doesn't really matter what goes on for me.
Yeah.
And I tell my nieces and nephews this. I said, "You're the ones that need to be active. It's on you."
And the irony is, those of us in this age group, we got more time
Yeah.
to do something about it,
But
but just less incentive.
I guess the thing is, it's a little bit like everything that I've done. I've learned a lot in my lifetime, and I know how to do it. I just don't seem to have the energy to get up and do it anymore. I mean, I don't know. I've thought about getting into some local politics, but I just haven't run into any. I'm not sure what I want to do. I keep running into the ones I keep running into. I really don't know that I want to associate with.
Oh yeah.
It's always that way when you're first into a group. You know the nutcases come over and introduce themselves first.
Yeah.
You know, the solid people you want to know just kind of sit back and wait and see what you are.
Well, as a corollary to that, I always say about DC is the DC people it's everybody you couldn't stand on the high school student council.
Well, that was my
they all came. Yeah, they all came to DC. Well,
you got to be a little ambitious in that direction, you know. The rest
Yeah.
of us go in different ways. But I was surprised, I think, when Sherry and I got to doing neighborhood stuff and working in politics, with just how much of what I learned in Politics 101 in college worked out. I just sit there and do things, you know, and yeah, it worked.
You mean like campaigning or?
Yeah, well, just basically when we were working on the park, there were a number of things I told Sherry, well, let's do this and see if it worked. And it was like putting a petition drive together,
Mhm.
you know,
Because
and
y'all
going
got
to
that,
meetings.
you got that park built from scratch.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It was a school building, and they tore the school building down, and we got a walking trail into the park. We got into the parks department, which means they almost can't get rid of it once we do that.
Mhm. Oh,
The way the city charter is, and we got a walking trail in there, and I think you go around it 5 times, and it's a mile, so it's a fifth of a mile around. And then
huh.
got in a little decorative kind of meeting spot, and then a nice playground with all kinds of stuff. We've got people bringing their kids from other parts of the city because they found the park and go, oh, this is the best playground in the city.
Hmm.
And it's nice. They spent, on the playground, they spent about $400,000. Hard to believe,
Wow.
but that equipment's expensive. And then they put down a pad and AstroTurf kind of pad and you can fall down on it and you just bounce. It's got rubber underneath or foam underneath it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And,
Well, that's making a difference. Building a park in your neighborhood.
well, we didn't have one. There was probably, I don't know how many. In our world, it was like there was like one set of swings down there in a little park down along the river that nobody knew about. And that was it. But so far, I was up there last fall, and their kids and parents were out there with the kids, and
Yeah.
all of them using the park. And neighbors using the walking trail. The women.
Now you can get old Trump to go down there and give you some grass.
Well, that could. What they did, and this is a problem in that old neighborhood, is every time they tear a building down, they have to do infill, and they go up north of the river in the old, what they call loess soil, which is just basically clay. It was dropped by the ice when the ice retreated and melted. And big old hills of it, and they go up there, and it's cheap, and it makes quick fill. And of course, it will not grow grass. I'll bet you right now, it's as dry as well. If it's like down here, as dry as it is, the grass is probably all brown because it's dry. But
Look how. I think I'll go over there and see what this. The thing is, this band sounds like they need to get their drummer under control to me. But from a distance, it's funny. From a distance with something like this, is you hear the drum more than the other because we're behind them. The outdoor how the outdoor acoustics work on something like that.
Well, that's kind of like when the car goes by and all you hear is the bass.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's it. One last look around here at this horrible grass in D.C. that Trump's going to fix. going to spend billions on grass because he says we have the worst grass in the world.
So he
Now,
paves over the
people
grass at
might
the White House and because he doesn't want to walk on it. And now he wants to make
exactly,
sure everybody
yeah,
else has
yeah. He laid concrete on the grass at the rose garden, but now he's. I mean, people might think I'm just joking, but he really went on for 15 or 20 minutes about that the other day
once he
about
gets on
grass.
something on his mind.
So there's the fountain. You'll walk a tour of Dupont Circle here, and somebody answered my question I had the other day. I don't remember the answer. Can you see what it says? Samuel Francis Dupont. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh,
Well, now,
the rear
yeah,
admiral sign.
rear admiral. Now, what was the difference?
I think the admiral's the boss, the rear admiral's the support.
Oh, okay then. So here's this little band over here in their pop-up tent. Get over here. Double.
Is this a formal thing or is this basically fancy?
I don't know. They got a crowd here. I've been waiting so long. People are vibing. Now you're a music man. You have a review for this group?
Well, from your microphone on your phone, I tell them don't give up the day job.
Yeah, what? Could you actually hear them very well? Or?
Well, I actually recognize the song, and I'm going.
That's a start.
I was basically thinking this. I thought most of those baby boomers were in retirement homes, so I didn't figure baby boomer music was played anymore. But
yeah, they've had kind of a variety of music.
Well, it looks like it's just you and me today.
Yeah, we've been at it about 45 minutes. I think I'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I need to get some work done.
All right. Well, the circle's always here, and so are we.
Take care. I'm gonna take a couple days break on this. So.
All right. Yeah, I'm too. I'm gonna grill a chicken tomorrow. I got a whole chicken I'm gonna throw on the grill.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that. I might put that on later.
Where they mash the chicken out.
Oh, the spatchcock. Oh, yeah, I've done that. I think this time I'm gonna do it for Lazy Man Cook, so I'm just gonna throw it on there.
Yeah.
Do the lazy job. And you know what? Something about chicken that I learned from there's I forget his name. Anyway, he's the former cook for the king for the royal family in Britain, and he's got a YouTube channel. And he doesn't work for him anymore. But he, I saw his chicken. He was real big on. I just wondered about this. He said, "Don't when you get your whole chicken out of the packaging, don't rinse it off."
Yeah.
He was really serious, and he said, "Don't rinse it off." Yeah, I always heard you have to rinse it off, or you'll get poisoned. And but he said, "Don't rinse it off," and then you want those juices to actually cook with the chicken. And had you ever heard that? Not rinsing off your chicken?
I, I don't trust Tyson to do a sanitary job on their chicken. So yeah, I take it over to the sink and I rinse it off. And then
Yeah.
if I cut the chicken up, I basically take my cutting board to the sink and I
Yeah.
get out some bleach water, and I sanitize everything after I work with the chicken. Maybe
Well, I like
it's
it.
my
I
own
like it.
paranoia.
I like it because it's lazy. It's just one less thing to do. All right.
Well, we'll see you later.
All righty. I like that hat.